To be or not to be, that is the movie we watched this week. What's going on, everybody? I'm Carson Higgins. This is my friend Groot. We're doing the Filmstruck Film Club, which is a club that you should definitely be in if you're not already. You got to go follow us at Filmstruck Film Club. That's where we're going to post what movies we're watching every week, and then boom, we're going to do one of these where I sit down and we talk about it a little bit. You're more than welcome to hit me up. Let me know what you thought about any film that we watched. But this week we watched an all-time classic comedy. I already told you what it was, but it's one that I've been meaning to pick for ages. And I'm so glad that I finally picked it because I laughed the entire time. Not the entire time. We'll get to that. But yeah, it is Ernst Lubitsch's To Be or Not to Be, 1942. This movie is crazy that it exists. Just putting that out there. When you put into context that in December 1941 is when Pearl Harbor happened, and this movie came out in 1942, that's just crazy. The whole time I was watching it, I was like, I can't imagine what it must have felt like to be in the theater watching this film. I'll get into some more of the details in a second. Let's see. This movie is it's number 49 on the AFI Top 100 Laughs. So out of the AFI's 100 Greatest Comedies Ever, it's just boop right into the top 50. And rightfully so. I mean, I had never seen an Ernst Lubitsch film before, and now I can't wait to watch more. I really want to watch The Shop Around the Corner and Ninotchka. There's a bunch. I'd like to check out some of his silent films too, but he famously, they would advertise movies as like the new Ernst Lubitsch movie with the Lubitsch touch. Because he just had a way, man. He had a way. He'd do that Midas thing. Just turn everything into gold. But with no repercussion, you know? Yeah, this, I guess he famously he would normally make films like based off a play. A lot of his films have like theater elements to them if they're not based on a play. It's like this one where it's about a theater troupe in Poland trying to put on a play called Gestapo. Which at first, when you don't know that, what a funny misdirect. Oh my God. I didn't quite know what I was getting myself into at first. But yeah, it's this theater troupe, and we have Jack Benny and Carole Lombard playing husband and wife, Joseph and Maria Tura, who are like the two most famous actors in Poland. And they're going to put on this Nazi play, and they get told they can't do it. And then, of course, Warsaw gets blown up, and the Nazis move in, and while this is, and I'm not really going to say anything too, like, new. I'm not going to bring a whole lot of new insight to this film. I mean, a lot of what I'm about to say is what everybody thinks. But it's like, it's so funny, and it has only aged like just the finest wine. But it is so funny, and they managed to really drive home the importance of how Poland getting taken by the Nazis and the terrible stuff that Hitler is starting to really ramp up doing. They just fucking tightrope walk this tone of dipping in and out of like very funny into darkness. And it's shot by, I forget the guy's name, but he's the DP from The Passion of Joan of Arc, which is like, come on, one of the greatest movies ever shot ever. But the way that they use lighting, where like all of a sudden you're in a film noir spy thriller, and then boom, you're back into a comedy, and it's all so seamless. And I'm just very impressed by how on earth Lubitsch put this movie together. I guess it went into production before Pearl Harbor had happened. So by the time it came, also sadly, Carole Lombard died at 33 years old right after making this movie in a plane crash. So not only is America fully entering the war effort, but Carole Lombard just died like a month before the release of this movie. So sadly, when it came out, I don't think very many people were in the mood to see this movie. There are jokes in it now, right? I mean, we're 70 years removed from World War II. We won the war. So things like one of the Nazi officers says to Jack Benny's character, like, "Oh yeah, I saw him. I don't want to." He's like, "Yeah, he did to Shakespeare what we're currently doing to Poland," which I laughed at. But I guess at the time when the movie came out, was maybe in bad taste, and people weren't hyped about making light of the bombing of Poland and Hitler and the Nazis, all the atrocities they were actively committing. Lubitsch just makes every Nazi look like such a buffoon in this movie. There are some like scary Nazis, but they're also dumb, and so the whole time you're just like, well, we can outsmart these guys. They don't know anything about this country. We're a theater troupe of actors, so we could trick them, and it makes perfect sense to me that Mel Brooks remade this film with his wife Anne Bancroft, which I think is cute that they were married in real life and then they played husband and wife. Anyway, yeah, it's like so much of Mel Brooks's style and humor clearly comes from Lubitsch, and just where Mel Brooks's humor kind of lives. This was just such a perfectly obvious, I should remake that movie. I have not seen the Mel Brooks remake, but I'm dying to check it out just because I laughed so much during this movie. I can't even think of the. There's so many things. I mean, when Hitler walks in and says "Heil myself," I mean that's literally in the producers. But it's just astounding that this movie came out when it did. I can't get over that fact. Interestingly enough, Jack Benny, this character was written with him in mind, and he was honored that someone of such a high caliber like Lubitsch would want him in a movie, so he said yes immediately. But at the premiere of the movie or something like that, I guess Jack Benny's dad walked out of the movie because he hated seeing his son in a Nazi uniform, and he wound up getting talked back into coming into the theater, and he loved the movie, saw it 46 times. So thank you, Wikipedia. I learned that. It did get one Oscar nomination for Best Original Score. The music is fantastic. Like I said, it also kind of delicately and beautifully walks this tightrope of tone. Yeah, Carole Lombard, hilarious woman. Jack Benny, hilarious man. Whoever the hell played Colonel Earhart or whatever, that guy is very, very funny. And then you got Greenberg, I believe is his name, who wants to, in the theater troupe, he wants to play Shylock, and him and his buddy, they're always complaining about how they're only ever spear carriers in these Shakespeare plays, and it gets brought up a couple times how someday you're gonna play a great Shylock, and goddamn, that scene in the theater towards the end where Greenberg does the impossible and just perfectly nails that. If you prick us, do we not bleed? If you tickle us, do we not laugh? If you know that speech, I was brought to tears when that little scene happened with him. Man, yeah, like that, and I think that's really the magic trick of this movie is that it's so funny. The satire is like just razor sharp, but then the real urgent need to address what's happening in Europe is just brought home so well. God damn, it was a home run. So yeah, I mean, it was just a knockout all the way through. The amount of times that I was like, what are they gonna do? What are they gonna do? And then the funny thing that they come up with to get out of the situation, I just was like, it's like Looney Tunes and Mel Brooks and Lubitsch. It's just brilliant. I'm going to stop talking because I've been talking for a while, but I love you, and I'm going to have a new pick for you tomorrow, so be on the lookout for that. And God, just go watch To Be or Not to Be. It's on the Criterion Channel. It's on HBO Max. It's available, man. Go watch this movie if you've never seen it before. It's so funny and so timely, too, which is also sad, but all the more reason to revisit it. Everyone's always talking about how if you don't know your history, it's bound to repeat itself. Well, go check out this history. It's worth your time. I'm going to go now. Bye. Bye, Groot.